Hello students, Jai Guru. This is my second audio lecture on critical appreciation of The Rape of the Lock by Alexander Pope. In the previous lecture, we looked upon Alexander Pope as one of the representative satirist and literary figure of 18th century Augustan England, and also The Rape of the Lock as a piece of literary satire. We also talked about Belinda, the main protagonist. We also looked upon epic characteristics and epic conventions and mock epic characteristics. Now here in these lines of the poem, and I quote, "Forget her prayers or miss her masquerade or lose her heart or necklace at a ball, or whether heaven has ruined that shock must fall." Let me tell you, shock here is the lapdog of Belinda. So Belinda equates every trivial as well as somber and serious information and processes them in the same way without actually privatizing or putting in hierarchy the elements with effect to seriousness and somberity. Pope's imaginative touch in the description of the tea ritual, journey along the river Thames, and the game of ombre reveals the charming appeal of the society. Ironically, the 18th century aristocratic world is full of force and violence, which is suggested again in the word rape and with repeated reference to the acts of cruelty and assault. And I quote here again, this is from Canto 1, line numbers 71 to 74, and I quote, "What guards the purity of melting maids in courtly balls and midnight masquerades, safe from the treacherous friend, the darling spark, when kind occasion prompts their warmth desire?" Unquote. So it seems that in the seemingly beautiful, charming, a romantic world of the 18th century Augustan age of the sophisticated society of belles and beaux, there were also dangers that lurked, and Pope was not oblivious of the fact. He knew that women were dangerous and susceptible to the violence. They were exposed to the dangers of their community as well as to the society. But he also never forgets to ridicule the fact that chastity, purity, rather than being treated as what they are, that is, very traditional, conservative, and a perspective of the society. Given the time we are talking about, it was always usually equated with a woman's fidelity, a woman's coquetry. In such a situation, a woman is either a coy or really innocent. But here, position is dangerous. The cutting of Belinda's hair, which is one of the most important situations, the context in and around which the entire narrative revolves, is metaphorical, symbolical of the fact that the sanctity of the woman's body is vulnerable and can be violated at any moment. The act, though flavored with humor and ridicule, faces the insecurity and indecency that were prevalent in the society, which were temporarily kept at the bay by the glitters of the fashionable society. With this we come to the mock epic conventions that Pope ridicules and analyzes in The Rape of the Lock. And we already in the previous lecture dealt with the mock epic characteristics, that is, a work designed to ridicule attitudes, style, or subject matter by handling either an elevated subject in a trivial manner or a low subject with mock dignity. Also, it renders a trivial subject ridiculous by treating it with the elaborate. And it also compares small things with something. We also see that in the poem, Pope strongly satirizes the malpractices in the 18th century urban society by specifically referring to the corruption of the penal laws. Now, what is brilliant about the structure of the Rape of the Lock is that all the ideas in the lines of the entire poem are so aptly considered and economically used that throughout the poem, Pope manages to maintain the heroic couplet standard of form, which rhymes in every two lines with an iambic pentameter which has 10 syllables in each line, and it alters with stressed and unstressed syllables. The satire on society by Pope is an attack of the emotional insincerity of the people of the Pope's age. Yes, in Canto 1, we saw Belinda awakes from sleeping, and also the Canto 1 talks about the dream of Belinda, and also Belinda, how Belinda prepares for the day's social activities. Thank you.